Hi guys, how are you? Going to do a wee mullet today for you. A little mullet. Okay, I know it's a gents clipper cutting class, but it's good to see things that are a wee bit different. Open your mind to different haircuts. There will sometimes be gents come in that have got longer hair that come into your shop to get their haircut. So I'm going to show you how we're going to start off. So I don't know if you've heard or seen a mullet before, but a mullet is short on the top, short at the sides, and then it's all happening at the back of the head. I have sectioned the head off here, so have a wee look at this. So I've sectioned this top here, a little V section. I've sectioned from the occipital bone downwards, from the crown up to the apex of the head, from the apex of the head to the front of the hairline, and I've took the sides out. The way I chose exactly how high up I wanted the sides was, I came to right on that square of the head, and that's when I've parted that. I don't really want to blend this in as such. No, I'm not going to blend this. I'm going to have maybe a little bit of an overhang. I'm just going to be quite creative, right? But I'll talk you through it. We're going to stay creative but technical, because that's really important, right? So I'm going to start off at the crown of the head, and this is where I'm going to take my guidelines. So I'm going to start off here, right? So I've got a wee V section here, haven't I? And then this comes forward. I'll just show you the section pattern that I've done on this head. And then from the ears down, and that's going to be a short section there. And then what I've done is from the occipital bone to behind the ears. And look how I've made that almost in a diagonal. That's not a straight line. And same at the other side. Now, it's important that sections are equal, because if I have a section up here and a section down there, one side's going to be longer than the other, and I don't want that. Right. So just talk you through a little bit more. Square is a more masculine shape than round. So what I want to do is, I want to have a square shape on top. So I want to keep this top even throughout here, even though these are in two separate sections, from the crown to the apex and then forward. I'm going to deal with that as one. The reason I've done this is so that I've got a little bit coming down here that can use to tie this section in. Because this is going to be... we're not going to have much disconnection in this haircut, meaning it is going to join, but it's going to be different shapes. So on top, I'm going to have a square shape. At the crown area, in this part of the head here, I'm going to have it rounded. So I'm going to follow the head shape round here. And then coming from here to the nape, we're going to be lifting out. So it's going to be concave, because it's going against the head shape, convex, following round the head shape, and then back to concave again. Let's start. Sides, I'm going to do a wee bit of scissor over combing. I'm going to do them a wee bit differently, because I want to show you a different version of scissor over combing, okay, than what we would normally do in class. Let's do it! Let's do it! Let's do it! Right, okay. I'm going to start. Yeah, I'm going to start at the crown. I always like to start at the crown. Let's just keep it simple, keep it the way it always is. Now, I'm creating a flat line through here. Two ways I can do it. I can come in and do it this way, pulling everything up in, this way, pulling everything up in the air, or I can do it from the side and work my way across. Let's work forward. Okay, so I take my section. I like to use this little piece of my comb here to go in, lift the hair. Oh, it would help if I had him stable, wouldn't it? Also, I don't have a mirror here, so what am I going to do to ensure that he's straight all the time? I'm going to run Make sure his nose is running down the centre of the tripod, the leg of the tripod, sorry. And that way I always know he is nice and even. Try and get that wee bit of light out his eye. Lifting up a piece from, actually I'm starting just at the apex here, making sure that section that I'm lifting is no more than a finger's width section. I am lifting it from the middle. I'm letting the comb guide my fingers because I want it nice and straight. I want this nice and short. I'm going to go even shorter than that actually. I'm going to go down a bit here. Fantastic. Putting the scissors in, drawing them back. Not cutting past my second knuckle. Cutting directly up from where the hair lies. Cutting it directly from base. Taking this section in here. Remember, I'm just trying to show you something a little bit different. I will work my way backwards. I'm going to cut this little triangle section first and then I'll work from there. Okay, I'm just going to work on this section here. Let's go. So again, I'm just picking another section up, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to gently push that hair forward. And make sure it's directly over the hair that's pre-base. So make sure it's directly over the section that's pre, not too much, just very, very gently. It's a very small amount. This is just going to ensure that it's really, really square. Keep my fingers as straight as I can. Keeping my feet directly under my body. Lifting my next section, pushing it very, very slightly forward. I can clearly see my guide now. Lovely. Again, next wee slice coming from the back, pushing it up, pushing it forward, very, very slightly. Lovely. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start working downwards. So from here, I'm going to start working down into that little tiny V at the bottom, into my little V section. Here we go. Taking that up, pushing all that away. Keeping the section nice and clean. Taking about a finger's width section. I'm cutting this way now because I'm working on the head shape. So I may as well make life easy for myself. I'm using the point here, just at the top of the crown, as my guide. So I can clearly see that there. And moving round, I'm going to show you in a second. So I'm holding that above that section there. I'm not pulling that in, I'm not over directing that at all. I'm cutting that directly over, almost right in the middle of the two sections. I'm trying to let you see that there. So see that, almost in the middle of those two sections. I'm only cutting like this to let you see it. I'll draw it on here for you so you can see exactly. So from here, I work in slices and then I've come down, and it's almost like a little pizza slice. So it's almost like a little pizza slice here I'm taking. My heart goes. Right, okay, where was it? I'm going to do this side here now. Forgot how hard it was to cut hair on camera. Really forgot there. Hopefully we'll be back in the building ASAP, and we will be back in the building. In here, and again I'm only cutting it like this to let you guys see, so I'll need to bring it back round to myself and make sure that I've cut it properly, because my body's not in the correct position. And then when I pull it out to cross check it, I'm going to pull it out to where the hair was held. It's held out here, wasn't it? I'm pulling it out. Yep, and I've missed a little piece there. And a little piece there, but all in all that looks good. So I'm ready to start going forward. So that whole section there's cut, so I can forget about that now. What that's done is it's gave me a guide to move forward, and it's gave me a guide to move back, to really make sure this whole thing's connected here. I think this section here, I'll cut it going across the way, just to let you guys see it. You're used to cutting, you're always used to cutting going that way. Let's do something a bit different. Right, so I'm taking a piece from the very, very middle of the head. How am I going to work out where that is? Well, all I need to do is look down where that gent's nose is. I know that that's the centre of the head. So I'm going to take a little section, about 1 centimetre thick, running down from the apex to the hairline and right in the middle of the head where the nose is, right? I'm going to take these two bits away from the side. I'll draw that on the head and show you exactly what I'm doing. So from the apex down the front, so this is the section here that I'm taking. Right there, okay? So running right forward. I can, if I want to, use clips and keep all that hair out the way, which would make it really, really nice and neat for me. But what I'll do is I'll just keep this side away just now until I cut this. Okay. Nope, do you know, no, I'm going to do that. I'm going to take all this hair away just to keep everything nice and neat for myself, okay? Here we go. So I take a piece from the apex and join it in. Remember, I'm doing a squared line, so this, I'm following basically that comb there. I'm not going to go round the head. I want it square, and I want it squared at the sides because square is a more masculine shape. So I'm coming up here, I'm going forward. I'm going to make sure my fingers are nice and straight. There we go. And draw those scissors back just as I cut. Okay, now I'm going to take a section at this side. Now, if I continue to cut this hair using a moving guide and just kind of picking up and joining the hair together, I've got a tendency to round that off at that square of the head, and I don't want to. I want to keep that straight. So what I'm going to do is very, very gently pull that section in towards the last section. So I'm lifting up. That section is just gently getting pulled over to that last section, and I'm cutting it right above base. I'm going to show you like this so you can see. So this is my guide here, and this section here is just getting pulled towards it very, very slightly. See how that's kind of straight and that one's going more in? Just make sure my fingers are straight again. Coming forward. I'm quite close to the head here. I shouldn't really be standing this close to the head, but I'm in quite a small space here. And keep going up there. I already had a little bit of a fringe, so now I'm going to do a wee cross check. Even though it's only 2 sections, it doesn't matter. I'm going to check it just to make sure that I'm exactly where I want to be. Next section. So what I'm doing is I'm disregarding the whole first section, but I'm keeping a little bit so that I can see as I move over. Take that away. Fingers width section, and again just take it straight up and then just gently across to the previous section so that I'm cutting that right above the previous section. So you can, I hope you can see there. So straight up, and this is very, very slightly coming in. I'm just going to straighten up my body position. And again, disregarding that. But leaving a little bit as a guide for my next section. And really being careful as I get to this round of the head, because I really don't want to round this cut off. I don't want to make it round on the top. I want to maintain that squareness on top. I'm just going to check. I'm going to use you guys as my mirror. Yep, I'm happy with that. Just throw my comb on the ground. Cut that bit out, I'll cut that bit out. I'm just going to cross check. And yeah, delighted with that. That wee bit's not been cut yet. Yeah, I'm happy with that. See how that's really maintaining that squareness there? Right, okay. Now I'm going to do this side. So again, picking it up, and I'm going to push into my previous section. There we go. I'll do it from this side even. See if this is better. So up in there, and just hold it over previous section and cut. fingers wide section. Take away all the previous hair. Again, take away. And then making sure, because I'm at the round of the head, I don't round that off. Amazing. Let's cross check. And I've just got a wee couple of strands there. Let's cross check. Great. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move into this section here. So we are going to start following round the head, but then as we get to the bottom of this section, we're going to start lifting up and out. I'll show you what I mean. And here as well, we're going to work. So this is going to be a rounded shape here, and this is going to be triangular at the bottom. Even though this is going to be triangular and going convex against the head, we're still going to be working round. In fact, I might even work so that the sides are shorter than the very, very back area. So just the beginning of the back, just want that wee bit shorter than the very back area. Right, let's do it. I'm just going to take out this section. Okay, we'll work with one side and then the other. So here we go. So we're going to start lifting out. Remember, we're going convex, so we're following the head shape. The head shape is rounded here. So I've got my fingers elevated and very, very slightly rounded here. I'm looking in at the roots, I'm making sure there's nothing crossed over. Everything's coming straight out from the head. Now I'm starting to go down the way here, because this part of the head is more coming to a kind of flatter section, so just above the occipital. And then that's going to be just before we start to convex. Sorry, concave. Let's do that now. So I find my guide. What I'm doing is I'm really elevating that, so it's as if it's coming up the way. What that's going to do is that's really going to maintain that length. See that as it comes down? Next section, and I'm cutting it right over the top of those two sections together. Coming down, lifting out. Next section here. Coming down like a pizza slice, sorry, not pizza. Make myself hungry. Straight down, lifting out. Oh, I have a long layer there, long hair there. And then go start going concave. Come to the other side. Remember, we're working round here, and then we're going to go right against the head shape. Loving it. Loving it already. Right, okay, so let's take this side out. Let me show you this as close as I can actually. Long hair here. What I want to do is I want to make it shorter. So let me show you what I'm going to do. So remember I had this square section here. Now I don't want to round that off, so I'm just basically going to take that away. This is going to be the only part of the haircut that's truly disconnected. Disconnected means it doesn't connect, it's not, it doesn't tie in with any other part of the haircut. Okay, so I'm going in with my scissors, I'm just going to lift a piece off here. Then I've got my comb, I'm going to lift my comb directly out from the head to the length I want it. So I want it round about there. So I'm just going to take that off. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift a piece from underneath. I'm going to comb that, I'm going to let that fall into it, and that's going to be my guide. So I can clearly see where that is. So there we go. A section under it now. And I'm using nice straight sections even though it's short hair. So you can see that how I'm putting in my closed blade and lifting out a nice straight section. Just letting that fall in. I'm going to comb that down now and have a wee look. Next section. Now this wouldn't jump out as much on a real human. It would probably lie nice and flat, unless the hair was really straight. I'm just basically working my way down. I'm going to bring this down and have a look. Yep. Then I'm just going to go ahead and do the other side. Try and show you at this angle here. But what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to put my comb in and see how long that is. It's to about here, so I know that that's how long I'm taking that. Take that section away at the top. Closed scissors. Go in, take that section, take your first section, hold it straight out from the head, and then just remove. And then as you work down, you're just holding that, letting the hair fall into the comb, and just holding it directly out from the section. You're not holding it up any higher or any lower. Just got to style it. Might do a little bit of point cutting and slicing. If I'm going to do that, I'll do that after it's dry and I'll come back on and show you guys. So let's recap what I done there. So, I mean, this haircut looks like nothing just now, but once he's styled, it's going to look really, really great. And I might even put in a little straight fringe there. Might take the side shorter. Might not, I'll see how I feel. That's the whole thing about being creative, isn't it? It's my choice. It's not his choice today, it's my choice. Okay, what did I do? So I started off at the crown. Well, no, even before that, I planned out the haircut in my head and I knew exactly what I was going to do. So I knew I was going to make this section rounded here, and I knew I was going to go against the head shape coming towards the bottom. So I knew I was going to go convex, and I knew I was going to go concave, and I knew I was wanting the top square because square is more masculine, so that's why I chose that shape for the top. I started off actually more at the, just behind the apex. I started at the apex and worked my way backwards. I worked in a square line until I reached just about the crown, and then I started taking sections round the way, so that was really going round the head like this. Then what I done was I worked in panels down the way. I looked over the top of the head, I seen where the nose was, and I went directly to the back and I started working down the way. And then I worked all the way down to the bottom and pulled it. The sides I worked scissor over comb, but I worked the longest section down to the shortest just by lifting the hair out, cutting it, lifting the hair out, cutting it right from base. Right from base. Yeah, so now I'm going to style them and I'll share the end result with you guys.